All right, let's talk about UConn Tate. I'm in love with this team. UConn fans, I don't know where it came from, but I think it was because last time we spent some time talking about UConn, we were joking about how we knew nothing about this team coming back, and I think UConn fans took us very seriously.
Yeah, they were very upset about the fact that we did not. They want us to know everything about them, and now I'm at the point where
I watched like. It is. I do love this time of year because the teams that kind of, I would classify UConn as a team that came out of nowhere. They brought one guy back, Sonogo. I don't know who else was on the team. I'm joking. I'm doing it again to see if I could. But even UConn fans, I don't think expected there was enough roster turnover, and they weren't like world beaters last year anyway, to where it's like, well, let's see what we got. And when a team like UConn comes out of nowhere, and the UConn fans have been watching every single game, and they're beating the brakes off of everybody they're playing. There comes a moment where they're like, "How are we not number one? I need someone to explain to me how we're not number one." And then when guys like you and I, who are supposed to be national pundits and supposed to have our finger on the pulse of 360, are we up to 360 something?
Maybe
teams
more.
now?
Yeah, let's say more.
And I do. I watch all these games. You know this, Tate.
Yeah.
I'm breaking down the film of Chicago State and IUPUI. You know this.
I'm watching Hartford just so I can see if they're better than Louisville.
But when we haven't watched every single second of every game, and then
frauds,
we make jokes like this.
Fraud Friday.
So I want to make something clear. I was watching UConn in the PK 85 or whatever the hell they call it, whatever the official name, the Legacy Invitational of Phil Knight. I was watching all those games. I watched the first half of the Oklahoma State game. It looked like UConn had it was a semi-close game there for a second, and then they got into the driver's seat, took a good lead into halftime. Stopped watching because we were watching Creighton, Texas at that point. And I've fallen in love with this team, but for some reason, the whole point of me saying all this is like somewhere along the line, I just started getting bombarded from UConn fans. Like, when are you going to talk about us being number one? When are you going to talk about us being the best team in the country? We are destroying everybody. And I was like, be patient, everybody.
Yeah.
Be patient. And it was working in the sense that I started like seeing UConn different, because like UConn was like beat the shit out of Alabama, for example.
Yeah.
And Alabama is a good team. Alabama's not a great team yet.
Right now, they're a top 10 team, says the AP poll. But,
I don't think Alabama's.
Look,
I think Alabama's better than they were last year. I don't think they're as good as they were a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They're not as good as the Herb Jones team. At least not yet. They might be.
I think Brandon Miller could end up being the number 2 pick. That's how much talent is there. But yeah, like you said, they're a young team.
We got a
long ways to go.
So when all these UConn fans started like just being loud and saying like, why are we not number one? I said, you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to watch this Oklahoma State game, and then I'm going to watch the Florida game, and I'm going to do it with the idea of trying to see the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
Like,
through that lens.
Is this the best team?
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to talk myself into it. So I'm watching Oklahoma State. I'm trying to talk myself into it. By the end of the game, I'm like, they might be number one.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened, Tate, last night when I was watching Florida was like, not only is this the number one team, and this is no disrespect to Purdue and Virginia and Houston, who I also love, but I was like trying to come up with reasons why UConn's not obviously the number one team. Like I think they should be pretty clearly voted number one. Now, there are different arguments, and first of all, I want to acknowledge that it is December, none of this matters, and it's all stupid. But
yeah. That's the preface of everything that we say in November, December.
That's the preface of everything we say every show. But especially now. Like if you were seeding the NCAA tournament today, I think Purdue's resume is probably better. I think Purdue has like probably
Purdue's
more
the number one
top-tier
overall
wins.
seed right now.
Yeah.
If Joe Lunardi puts out his bracketology, Purdue's number one overall.
I think Virginia's resume might even be better, but they've had like closer games, and Reese Beekman is a little banged up, and there's some doubt starting to enter the picture with
Virginia's
Virginia.
number one when Beekman's healthy.
Right. But UConn is the number one team for me, and I don't think it's particularly close. They are the number one team that I would be most terrified. Like if Ohio State had to play any of these teams tomorrow, UConn is the number one team that I do not want to see right now.
Yeah.
That is number, and I feel very comfortable saying that.
And the last time that UConn started 10-0, they won the national championship. So I'll say that again. The last time that UConn started a season 10-0, they were national champions. So that is why UConn fans and UConn faithful are going crazy right now, because they're saying, We're a team that wins national championships. Look at us in the 21st century, and we beat Duke head-to-head in 1999. People forget. So, UConn knows how to do this. They're waving the flag saying, it's our time. Pass that potato. And we are 10-0. And if you just look at this Florida game, I told you I marked that as my trap game of the century because you go down there, you got Todd Golden. This could be a program signature type win for his
program
era.
win. It had program win written all over it. Yeah.
And then the fact that they beat them down by 21, and you
it wasn't close.
It wasn't even close.
They jump out to a big lead. They keep them at arm's length the whole game. And
Florida shot 28 free throws. UConn shot 9.
Yeah.
And they won by 21.
Yeah.
That usually doesn't happen in college basketball.
On the road.
On the road. They're 2-0 against the SEC.
Yeah.
They're beating power conference teams. I mean, everything that UConn is doing and the way that they play, the way that they rebound, the way that they defend, it's all, it's the DNA of a championship team. And again, this is a program that knows how to win championships. So that is why when you talk about the number one team in the country, they check all the boxes.
I guess that's what makes him so fun to me is that I can't figure out who my favorite player is. Like Sanogo, as we know, as we admitted on the show, he was the only guy we knew on the team coming out. No, Sanogo's the guy. Like you fall in love with Sanogo because of as I was talking on Monday about him. Like he's added stuff to his game and he's moving so much more fluid and he's not afraid to take jump shots and shoot threes. And again, like I don't want him shooting. It's kind of like Jackson. Like Sanogo is hitting. I think he's hitting like 40% right now. He's 42, something like that. Like he's hitting them at a good clip. But like I don't need Sanogo actually hunting threes. But it's nice to see he's got it in his game that if the defender is just hanging out in the paint, he can keep defenses honest and shoot those threes. So Sanogo's improvement and how dominant he is. And how he made, like, at times last night, like, Colin Castleton, who's a very, very good player, is just hanging his head, like, I don't know what to do with this guy. Watching that, like, I don't know, you fall in love with Sanogo. But then you watch, like, Jordan Hawkins and, like, how confident he is with his, I'm a shooter, Tate. You're a shooter. You watch a guy like him, like, curling off screens and letting it rip.
Yeah, my heart.
Somehow gets fouled, like, once a game on a three. Like, every single time.
And his name is Jordan.
And his name is Jordan.
Yeah.
He's going to lead the country in fouled on threes. On 3-point attempts, I think. He had like 2 against Oklahoma State. He had 1 last night. Todd Golden was losing his mind about it. You fall in love with him as you're watching him. Calcaterra, I love. Joey California, as Dan Hurley calls him. He doesn't miss. He's incredible. Klingen off the bench, you're like, my God, this guy.
No, it feels like a UConn team that can win a title when we talk about the characters on this team and the group of players. And yeah, I think Klingen is one of those guys that could win, Big East Newcomer of the Year type stuff.
Yeah.
Off the bench.
The flaws, I guess, would be turnovers. They get a little sloppy with the ball at times. Newton is like, I keep being told he's a point guard. I'm not really sure he is. I don't know if that's like what he wants to do, but I think he likes having the ball in his hands, but I don't know if he loves playing point guard. There's a difference. So that, like I'm nitpicking. Like I said, I'm now.
He did have a triple-double, Titus, against Buffalo, so people forget.
There you go. I'm now in a position where I'm no longer like talking myself into UConn. I'm like trying to find reasons they're not number one, and I guess you'd point to that as like the point guard play is like Tristan Newton's a good player, like you said, he triple-double guy, but is he what this team need? Like, do you need another guy that's going to get triple-doubles, or do you need a guy that's going to facilitate an offense? Yeah. I don't know. They do put guys on the line a lot. Like the free throw disparity last night, I don't think that's an anomaly. I think they played like
I was just trying to show that's how badly they beat Florida in that game. They won by 21, and they had that kind of disparity.
I think that's like a thing that we're going to get out of UConn a lot this year. Is their other team's going to be shooting a lot of free throws. So that might worry me. And then like Jackson and Aline and Sanogo and like whoever else like shooting too many threes. Like I guess those are my flaws. Those would be the 3 flaws I see right now. Is like we don't need you guys pulling when you're wide every single time you're wide open. You're wide open for a reason. Yeah. But other than that, like you look at this UConn team, dude, their defense is insane. They have athletes at every single spot on the floor. They bring a 7-2 guy off the bench that dunks on everybody and grabs every rebound. And like that's the thing about like guys like Klingen that come in the game that are big dudes that are young and are coming off the bench. They're usually just like big, bumbling, ogre type dudes that like can't, you know what I mean? And like he can actually play.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like what Edie once was. Yeah. Like that's
it's good to see the evolution, the growth.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to start the show just saying UConn, you are officially the most terrifying team in college basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to be the number 1 team. I don't know how all that shakes out. Doesn't matter. As of December, what is it? The 8th? Mm-hmm. As of December 8th, you are the most terrifying team in college basketball.
Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.